I've got so many projects going on, maybe I should call this series What's Not on the Bench. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 2 of What's on the Bench, and this month we've got a couple of builds going on from the previous month, of course, because nothing was finished last month. Why should anything be finished this month? Let's get into it right now with the Range Rover Classic Body on the CMAX Chassis. This build has progressed a lot since the last time you saw it. Oh, it's right there. It's got a lot going on. Most of the paint has been done on the exterior. I've also got some interior elements that have started to come together. And I'm going to explain how I'm doing this process that makes it look like the clear coat has started fading through. One of the techniques that I wanted to try this time was something called chipping. And chipping gets used a lot in 35th scale tanks. It works well in 35th scale, and it scales up quite nicely to the 8.5 scale body that the Range Rover Classic is. Without getting too crazy into the details, it's not that difficult of a process, and I'd like to show you now how I do it. It's already been done on the hood. You can see that it looks as if the clear coat has been eaten away by the years of constant sun and weather and elements out there. The best way to start is with your final paint and clear coat applied, and then it's quite simply, you just lay down 2 very light coats of hairspray. Just any hairspray will do. I use Tresemme. Where is it? I used this Tresemme Firm Hold hairspray, and you can get this at any drugstore or Walmart or Walgreens or wherever you shop. You can pick that up. Wait for that to dry, and it works best if you have an airbrush. Thin out some white, and I added a little bit of green back into that white just to kind of match the paint color that I'm using on the truck, and apply very light sort of round shapes. Try to be as random as possible, make it appear as if this is just sort of a random pattern of fading that's occurred, and let that dry. Once that white coat has dried, get a large brush, moisten that brush with a little bit of water, dry it off on a paper towel, and then just start rubbing lightly at those white areas, and you'll start to see that the paint lifts because the water-soluble hairspray gets eaten away by the water on the brush, and it leaves behind this nice clean area where it looks as if the clear coat has just totally disappeared. I do that in sort of a random pattern. I try to be as light as possible because the heavier you are with the water and with the rubbing, you're going to eat away more of that white paint. Try to be as delicate as you can, and once you've kind of got that in a nice kind of pattern that you're happy with, you're thinking to yourself, oh, wait a second, if this is just hairspray, as soon as the body gets wet, it's just gonna all disappear. Well, yeah, that would be true, absolutely. But what I do is I spray a light coat of clear, just Tamiya TS clear, and then another layer over top of that with a little bit of dull, so it has a varied finish. And that will seal in the hairspray, seal in the chipping, and there you go, weathered and accurate looking for its age and its vintage. And very cool effect. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Moving to the interior of the truck, well, there isn't one yet, and I haven't done any inner fenders or anything like that, but I do have a V8 motor courtesy of MrCommaD. Dion, who runs Mr. Scale CMAX, does a lot of great detail work on his motors. They are very accurate. There's a lot of nice little bits and pieces for you to assemble, and currently they're actually coming pre-assembled by Dion himself, so that's a really nice feature and something that I think adds a lot of value. I went the extra mile and did some detail work myself just to make it feel like it's an old weathered used motor. Lots of washes and airbrushing and brushwork with Citadel and Vallejo acrylic paints. Just I think adds a whole other layer. It's just nice to see that grime and that built up dirt. And I also added some little wire for all of the distributor wiring, and just to give it that extra little bit of realism. I'll make sure to put a link in the description below where you can check out all of his products that are available for sale. I also took some time to braze up my own front and rear bumpers. I wanted to give it a more aggressive look, so I'm not using what came with the JS Scale body kit. These are just 3/16 brake line that I've brazed up with some silver solder and my torch, and I also referenced the actual truck just to kind of make it feel as close to the original as possible. It does have a swing out rear tire carrier, which I definitely wanted to include as well. What else? Well, I'm also working on doing a hard body conversion to my VS4-10, which is just sitting back there. I wanted to do something unique, so I'll be putting a Comanche body on it. This is a Manitou Lou MFAB creation, and it uses a front hard body from the Cherokee kit and a whole new rear section to make it an actual Comanche. You may have seen some other Comanches on eBay that aren't accurate whatsoever. This is as accurate as it will get for a Comanche of this era, and I can't wait to get that finished. They do require an awful lot of sanding and finishing, as you may know already. The 4Runner from MFAB takes tons of hours. I expect that this will take just as many hours as well. Lastly, today I wanted to talk a little bit about one of our forum members. The Scale Builders Guild forum has over 7,000 members now, which I think is pretty amazing. One of the more active members lately is Noisy4AG. He did a lot of excellent trolling with this build. It's an SCX-10-2 chassis, GCM driveline, and RC four-wheel drive Blazer body, and it looks fantastic. There's a lot of comedy in this build, so it really made me chuckle as I read through the build thread. There's a lot going on in there, and I can only share a few photos with you today. I do invite you to go check out the build thread on the forum. It's definitely worth your while, and I'll make sure to post that link in the description below. He built it to run at the Ultimate Scale Truck Expo, which is happening right now down in Florida. A lot of our GCM friends, a lot of our JS Scale friends, a lot of our forum friends are down there right now. I hope they're all having an excellent time and enjoying the warm weather. If you've got a build going on and you want to see it featured here on What's on the Bench, by all means, start a build thread on the Scale Builders Guild forum. It's where all the best content for our hobby comes from, and I really do appreciate all of the members that we have who do share their builds with us. It really makes the community great, and I do invite you to go check it out if you haven't already. We're not just a YouTube channel, we're not just an Instagram channel, we're not just a Facebook page. We are a forum of really dedicated scale builders, and I do invite you to go check it out. So make sure you check out that link in the description below. I think that's going to do it for this month's episode of What's on the Bench. I'll be sure to come back to the builds that you saw in episode 1 and see where we're at with those in coming episodes. Yeah. If you like this series, be sure to post a comment below. I love reading your feedback. And of course, hit that like button if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure your bell is turned on for notifications so you know when new videos get released. That's it for this month of What's on the Bench. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.